So, can you heal anxiety naturally? Today on the podcast, I'm interviewing my former client, Kate Lowry, who is also a former restaurant owner and now a somatic breathwork coach.
Welcome to She's Healthy, a podcast for ambitious women on their journey to become the healthiest version of themselves. I'm your host, Lori Aikman.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, my name is Lori Aikman. I am a nurse practitioner and I am the CEO and founder of Crown Executive Health, where we help busy professional women regain and sustain their energy through comprehensive hormone management with a functional medicine approach. So today we're talking to my former client, Kate Lowry, about her experience, just the symptoms that she was experiencing in her body, physical burnout, things of that nature, and her transition in our time together. So I think you're going to love this episode. We also, since Kate is a somatic breathwork coach, you can also find more out about working with her and the resources that So here we go. Here's Kate's story. Today we are talking to Miss Kate Lowry. Kate is a former restaurateur and now somatic breathwork coach who helps people calm their nervous system and control their emotional response. She works with people both in person and virtually. She is located in the state of Washington. She is a mom and about to get married here in 9 days. We were just saying before we hit record. So welcome, Kate. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Lori. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk to you. Just Kate and I work together. She's been a client of mine. And so it's been a little while. I think it's been over a month or so since we've chatted. Yeah. So it'll be good to catch up today. And just talk about you and now what you're doing now in your somatic breathwork practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited.
So I'd love to dive in, just kind of starting. You and I met through another coaching program that we were both in. And when you and I started working together, because you obviously, I guess just to set the stage, and a lot of women that I work with are like this, you were already doing a lot of like very proactive, healthy things, going to the gym and changing diet and stuff like that. But I guess if you could kind of back up and think back to that time, like maybe was there things that you were like struggling to get answers for, or, just kind of set the stage for what things looked like when we first started working together.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like the perfect timing for you to come in because I was frustrated. I was meditating all the time, going to the gym, eating relatively healthy, taking care of my mental health. I thought in the best way possible, and really still struggling with weight gain also like not being able to lose weight. My PMS was getting worse. Sleeping wasn't very well. I was having like stomach aches on a pretty regular basis. So yeah, when we met, I was frustrated, but also looking for answers. So it was like the perfect time. And we did hormones first. And then we followed that up with the gut testing, which was it was a really, really awesome. I think we were together about 6 months, and it's something I miss, catching up and being able to pick your brain on all of that wonderful stuff. So came at the right time.
Yes. So timely, right? I feel like a lot of things in life happen that way. When the right thing comes along when you're ready, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And two, just to speak to your entrepreneurial journey, you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. And so just again, that's a lot of the women I work with are kind of this, you're very driven, you're very, and sometimes I think like, just knowing that myself, I know that can be a little bit of a downfall for me because like my drive can cause me to like push my body beyond what I should, like I can, missing out on sleep, not resting, not, but I know you were already on this journey of like, kind of, did that change for you? Just curious. That's not something we had ever chatted about, just moving from the restaurant business when you sold that to then, I know you guys have, because you guys have a construction company too,
We
and
do have a
you're,
new construction company, yeah,
yeah,
and
and
my
then
new
you're a
business.
breathwork coach. So you've
Yeah.
got like all the things, but
Yeah, but so
able to,
different. So
yeah.
different than the restaurant industry. And that's one of the things you helped me understand was I pushed my body so hard. I was an owner for about 14 years and I
Mm,
owned two of them. And there it was
yeah.
chronically overworking for years upon years. I had like 75 employees at one time. So I was managing a lot of things. So when I met you, I'd been like 6 months outside of the industry. And I'm like, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, I have time now. Like, but what I didn't realize and what you helped me understand was burnout. It doesn't just go away because all of a sudden you're not
yeah.
managing all of this at the same time. And so
Yeah.
everything was out of whack from all of those years of chronically overworking. I
Mm,
owned places that were open until really late. And so, if there
mm,
was events or something, my sleep schedule was messed up. So
yeah.
yeah,
I bet.
absolutely.
I bet. Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you're the owner, yeah, you're probably the last one there, you're there closing, or I think of that, like I would want to be there, for
Yeah. Yeah.
all
It's a
the events.
balance for sure. But yeah, so to answer your question, just things got, just like started to calm down with the businesses and I sold them and stuff like that. But as far as like helping myself feel better, I was well aware, I'm like obsessed with food documentaries and all this stuff and everything that's coming in, but I don't know what to do to get it out. I don't know what to do to curb that or to change that, offset that trajectory that I was going. And you hear perimenopausal, I'm 42 years old. And so, oh, is it just, a sentence, a life sentence that you're just going to feel like crap until you get to the other side of it. And I wasn't cool with that. Finally, I'm not working
Yeah.
all of the time anymore. Finally, I found something that lights me up and gets me excited. My fiance is really the owner of the construction company. I help him with the books and some stuff, but
Mhm.
he's doing his passion in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was the perfect time to get support on
Yeah.
all of that things. And I wish that, I could have like a side by side of 7, 8 months ago when I met
Yeah.
you, because there really was a very different person back then.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all. I'm honored that I get to be a part of the journey,
Yeah,
of just seeing that transition. And I think
yeah,
I think of, just to speak to that part of what we do, we do that questionnaire. And I
yeah,
remember looking at your question, things that improved, like we did at the beginning, where we kind of grade your symptoms.
yeah,
And then that 3 months in, things had improved, but then 6 months in, things,
yeah,
and I remember you saying, you were like,
yeah,
I realized I was pretty in rough shape back
right,
then,
yeah,
but I think we kind of, right, we get to this place where it's just our normal because we're
yeah,
like used to burning the candle at both ends
yeah,
and go, go,
yeah,
go, go, go. And you're like, well, that's just how my body is, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it felt impossible to figure out what was doing it.
Mhm.
So, or what was, I would,
Yeah.
you hear like a little, oh, here's the new hormone pill, all natural. I'll try taking that for a little while. Okay, that did nothing, or you this herb or that, I really appreciated how easy you were to work with and how full
Mhm.
of answers you were and how quickly you responded and just how much you really cared in my journey. So that really felt special to me that I
Yeah.
had a true coach, even though we're on the exact opposite sides of the United States. It was like
Yeah.
you were in my back pocket. You were somebody that I could turn to. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was an incredible journey for sure.
Oh, awesome.
I
Awesome.
appreciate
What
you.
are, if I could ask, what are some of the, like, what would you say, physical changes that have, taken place that you're like,
Yeah.
you know, kind
So
of
the
that
gut
now?
stuff for sure was huge for me. So back when I met you, I had done gut like food allergy testing 4 years
Mhm.
ago and lost like 30 pounds. But I couldn't really tell what was bothering me. I was,
Mhm.
not celiac, but gluten sensitive or whatever. But like it would be none of that at all, and it would cause a problem. And so
Mhm.
I think that's what was like the biggest the biggest thing for me is that I learned what my body can't tolerate. And to go one step further with that, I talked to you many times about this, but I had lower back pain for years. And I
Mhm.
also dealt with tennis elbow for the whole time we were working together for the most
Yeah.
part. So after we stopped working together and, you reintroduce, I learned that dairy was not my friend. So for
Yeah.
me, if I eat dairy, I have back pain and elbow pain. But for the first
Mhm.
time in many, many years, I'm pain-free if I stay away from it. So yeah, so that's a huge one. Anxiety. I was so frustrated. That was like been my lifelong battle is anxiety. I'm like, what? I meditate, I only drink water, I do all of these things, but yet I'm still anxious. So finding my path and my purpose has had a lot to do with that going away.
Mhm.
And getting out of the crazy industry, but it still was creeping back in. So
Mhm.
that has been almost non-existent
Yeah.
lately and the last few months, which is, to not have stomach aches and not have anxiety is like a
Yeah.
huge, huge improvement in my life for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad. Because yes, it's been a little while since we chatted, and I know
Yeah.
that was one thing that was kind of like your, yeah, just thing where it kind of would come and go,
Yep.
where anxiety would kind of flare up. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. I'm so glad that it's
Yeah.
because right, that affects your personal life, your every area of your life.
Everything. Yep.
Yeah. I feel
Everything.
like people like sometimes they can brush off the stomach stuff because they're like, that's just how I am. My stomach's upset all the time. But anxiety, right, just impacts us so significantly, like,
Absolutely.
in so many ways. So I'm curious then, just and you're kind of speaking to it, but how, do you feel like that stuff has helped you, in your personal life, in your professional life, just being able, I find sometimes that women are able to like I would call it like go to the next level, like finally like, hey, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
finally do this now that
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, yeah. So even the somatic breathwork coaching, I was getting certified while we were working together.
Mhm.
And then I got certified earlier this year. Um, and hugely, hugely. I mean, when you have either your stomach is upset or you're anxious or your hormones are out of whack, you're not optimally performing at your optimal level.
Mhm.
So with having these things calming down and dialing it in, I was able to do all of the things that I'm doing with breathwork today. Where now I've led hundreds of people. I've got in community events going on. I'm helping so many people in the way that I know how to help them, and I
Yeah.
can support their mission to get rid of anxiety and calm their nervous system. And so it just I think it would have delayed me big time had I not worked. In fact, I know it would have delayed me big time had I not worked with you and had I not dialed in what foods were not reacting with my body. Before working with you, I didn't think it was dairy. I had no idea it was dairy. I didn't
Yeah.
do well with milk, okay? I didn't drink milk. But
Mhm.
like I love
Yeah.
cheese, and so now I still eat sheep's milk cheese and goat's milk cheese, so I'm not deprived whatsoever. But
Yeah.
for me, the cow's milk, it causes inflammation in my body. It causes bloating. That's another thing that I don't deal with
Mhm.
nearly like I used to, which being a woman, an engaged woman,
Yeah.
you feel bloated, you don't even want to go out. And that's like a big self-esteem issue. So
Yeah.
that's really helped a lot. So yeah, my business is absolutely tripled since working with you. And
Really?
there's so many things in the works right now that it's really exciting and
I'm
it's
so excited for
gonna help a lot of
you.
people. Thank you. Me
That's
too.
so
And I'm
awesome.
excited for when you're not pregnant so that we can do
Yeah,
a
so I
journey
could do a
together.
session.
Yes.
I could do a
Yes.
session too. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Uh-huh. So tell us a little bit then, that's a perfect transition about like what, so somebody's totally new. What is
Yeah.
somatic breath work?
Yeah, it's really awesome because so many people are so new. Like
Mhm.
I would say 95% of the people I talk to do not know what somatic breath work is. So if
Mm.
you don't worry. That's perfectly normal. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk about breath work out there, and everybody's done a yoga class and we've done the pranayama, yogic breathing and stuff like that. That's amazing. I love that. That's part of the process too. That's called a down regulation breathing technique, and that's really calming the nervous system. So
Mhm.
with my somatic breathwork journeys, which is mostly what I'm doing right now, we're actually activating the system. We're actually using an active breathing pattern to activate the system. And when we activate the system, we drop out of our minds and into our bodies. So what that does is it gets us out of our monkey minds. So many of us, all of us, for the most part, are stuck in our minds all the time. A lot of people do a great job regulating it, but it's hard to just get out of it altogether. Meditation is wonderful, but how many people have you heard say, I'm no good at it? Well, with this breathing technique that we're doing in a somatic breath work, it's impossible not to drop out of your head and into your body. It's activating all of the energy centers in your body. Your monkey mind is active for about the first two, maybe 3 songs. Then we drop into our bodies. My music narration is going at an arch that's bringing us up to a somatic release. So once we release the energy centers in our body, that's trauma and blocks getting moved around. So what I'm leading up to is a scream. So our somatic release is a scream either out loud or into a pillow. I do it with my family home all the time. In a pillow, they don't hear a thing. And so I have some people that don't scream at all, and that's definitely okay too. Sometimes there's a lot of like movement to whatever it takes to kind of release that energy from the body. Is such an amazing healing modality, the best that I have ever found in 9 years of being just obsessed with spirituality and growth and learning and meditative and spiritual journey. So on the other side of the scream, we're in a theta brainwave state. That's the state that we're in like the first 8 years of life, when we're really like, when we're getting our belief systems really built and locked in, that theta brainwave state, also the dream state. So in that theta brainwave state, I, as the coach, am then imprinting what we want to take away. So we're doing visualizations, we're pulling in happiness, we're pulling in joy, and we're doing active visualizations to lock those feelings into the body. And then towards the end, we're just in calm relaxation state and coming out of it. It's just amazing. It's so therapeutic. And we're doing this all in 45 minutes. A session is 1 hour, and about 15 minutes of that is me going into all of this and more and explaining a lot more about the process. So
wow. I'm like, sign me up. When can I start?
When you're not pregnant, unless you need to induce labor.
No, we don't want that. I don't need number 3 to come early. We're already still trying to prepare.
Sure.
So, I mean, it sounds like anybody, this is perfect, because I think sometimes, I think there's a lot of conversation about trauma now, and like trauma, like I see so many just being in the online coaching space. I think I see lots of like I'm trauma informed, but, and so I think that there's a lot of conversation about that and releasing things from your body, but that, I mean, there's so much, just like, I think of our origin stories, right? Are like the things that got imprinted, like you were talking about when we're a kid, the things that get imprinted in us that are like almost those beliefs that are really hard to overcome. I mean, this sounds like you kind of work through those things there too. I don't know. That's just
so it's
picture
the breathing pattern and what is activating. It's like our bodies have infinite wisdom. They really are designed to do everything for us and repair and recover. It's just all the other bullshit that is excuse me if you have to
no
all the other things that are coming in, that are disrupting us. More, you could speak to that way more. So this is going in, and it's with our active breathing pattern, we're unlocking the blocks. It's finding the blocks in our body. So if you read like The Body Keeps the Score or anything like that about trauma, it's showing up as blocks in our bodies. So then you might have pain, or you might develop a disease or something like that. So it's not necessarily going in and saying, you didn't feel loved as a child, you're going to scream that out. No, it's going and it's finding a blockage. And so it's trying to make the body be back in homeostasis, help it move so much better. And so that's where we're getting that block out. But then we didn't have to do the talk therapy of, it doesn't, I'm not saying that it's a replacement for talk therapy. Talk therapy is amazing, and I think it absolutely has its place. But this is a great tool in addition to, or someone that's like, I'm not going to go to therapy, but I want to feel better. I want to calm my nervous system. I have aches and pains. I want to optimally perform better in life. That's what somatic breathwork does.
Oh, that's awesome. I have a friend that does EMDR, And so, just kind of similar concept of like releasing more from the body versus talking things out.
Yeah.
Because I think at least that's stuff I've heard is, people like, I've gone to therapy for years, but I've never been able to like get past this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, it makes sense to me. I don't know necessarily the science behind it, but it makes sense to me that we hold those things in our body. So, that was what you were describing was the journey, right? You would call it journeys of like, that's like in a session, you go through a journey where you're, right? Okay. Got it. And you said, so how long? So it's an hour, you said about 45 minutes going through that process.
Yeah. It changes from coach to coach. And we always coach in a way that kind of fits our personality, right? So there are 2-hour sessions out there. They're all over the place. For me, that's too long. I like a little bit more like compacted, but it's enough time to really calm, activate, and then calm again. So we're anywhere from 45 to 50 minutes on the journey, which is the music tracks back to back. And then with the intro, we're looking about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes a session. So
okay. Awesome. Yeah. And like, is this something where people do it like weekly, monthly, like what is,
so it's kind of all over the map. So I mean, some people do a one-off, some people do one time. Some people, I like to try to do personally, I like to breathe about once a week. If not once every week and a half. And then I like to do little small breathing techniques in between just to regulate my nervous system. And that has been tremendous. I mean, there's so many out there that you can find on YouTube, just short little breathing. There's so many different breathing techniques. They're all amazing. The reality is that our breath is our life. And it's like right here, it's a tool that we have to calm ourselves that a lot of people forget about, or we know that, and we just don't have the means or the quick answer on what to do about that. But I would say, I've been doing this long enough that I have plenty of repeat people, and I would say they're coming about twice a month, and that seems to be working really well for them.
Kind of maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. Can you have an absolute major crazy release in one session? Absolutely, because what it does is once you get that block out, it's often that then when you're coming out, you're processing it some information. So I always encourage people to take it slow, always encourage people to journal and trust what's coming up, because that may have been blocked behind, something that you got out. And so we can now process those emotions better.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And so, and we've kind of spoke to this, obviously, with me being pregnant. Is there anybody, this is not a good option before?
Yeah. Good question. So there are some cautions that I put into every journey. I talk to people before they start. So if anybody has high blood pressure that's not monitored by medication, it's not controlled by medication. If you had like a recent surgery at all, like any heavy duty medications, anybody with like schizophrenia or epilepsy or seizures.
Okay.
Or asthma that's not controlled, but we can even, have an inhaler close by. But those are, if you just had a concussion or something like that, we're activating everything. We're activating the whole system. So we need to be relatively healthy to be able to withstand some activation, but most people are.
It's like, you've got to be healthy enough to go for a run, or I'm just thinking of like, like that. If you just had a heart attack, this is probably not a good.
No, definitely not. Not.
Yeah. Amazing. So if somebody's listening to this, obviously, and wants to hear more, find you, what does that look like? I think you mentioned like you do consultations, to kind of talk to somebody.
Yeah, so I have several different options. If you happen to be near Washington State, I'm very excited. My as I said, we own a construction company. We bought a boarded up house and just completely renovated it to a beautiful retreat space. So we're going to be doing retreats here in the summer. And so we're doing soulful breath day retreats and doing breath work here. But probably a lot of listeners aren't near Washington State. So Stronger Soul is the name of my company. StrongerSoul.com has all my booking links for any Zoom calls that I have coming up. I do Zoom calls, at least once a week or so, just a group session. That's a great way to try it out. And those are really affordable. I also do private sessions, and those are for somebody that's really wanting to work on specific things.
Yeah.
So I theme every journey. And so the themes I ran one last night for a great group, 3 generations in my Zoom last night, which I think is just incredible. But that one was called Permission to Be You. So we were really focusing on our solar plexus, bringing back personal power and confidence into our solar plexus. And so I have several different journeys I've created with releasing stress and anxiety. But if you do a personal session, we can tailor it to what you want to work on. We can really have that one-on-one time ahead of time. I can go make the journey. We'll come back. It's a lot more support with the private journeys. So that's a really great offering as well.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, probably if you have something specific that you want to work through. Yeah. Okay, so they can go to strongersoul.com. And then, of course, you're on socials. So you're at Instagram, Stronger Soul PNW, Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
And then on Facebook, is it Stronger Soul Kate Lowry?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Got it. So they can find you. And of course, just we'll link all this stuff so people can just click on the links. Okay. And then you also have a newsletter sign up. Maybe would be a good place where they can hear when you've got maybe when your retreats launch. That's amazing. I didn't know about your retreat center.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
I'm
awesome.
so excited. Yeah.
Oh, I bet. Are you going to rent out the space as well? Like
eventually I think we will. Yeah. So my daughter's 16 and a half.
Thinking business
and
wise.
So when she grows up and moves out, in the future, we're thinking about doing some extended traveling, and it's beautiful. We took down trees, and we have a complete unobstructed view of the beautiful mountain we have here in Washington and of the whole valley. It's just, it's awesome.
Wow. Amazing. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm so honored that I got to be a part of your journey and just this, you're, moving into this next stage of life. You're about to get married, just so many things evolving for you this year. It's awesome. So
well, thank you so much for your support. I'm so grateful. I think we got put in a breakout room in the coaching program we were a part of, and you're like, here's what I do, and I'm like, whoop, there she is. I'm like,
you're like,
hi Lori, it's me, remember me, come. So I loved our time together. You're an absolute doll. You became a good friends in the process, and I can't thank you enough for how much you have helped me realize that wasn't baseline. I kept saying this can't be baseline, but it'd been years and years. I've got problems and anxiety. Those were the 2 things that I would say that, thank God, I'm just so blessed now that I don't deal with that anymore. So thank you for your support in that.
You're making me tear up.
Oh, good. It might be the pregnancy hormones, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that does definitely play a role. First trimester was real bad, but
of course. Of course.
Well, thank you so much. And then of course I'm putting all your links in the page so they can go and find you and work with you. And then I will be maybe July I can come on. Maybe he's doing June.
I'll check in with you for sure.
Yes, I'd love to. So
right. It's just finding 1 hour interrupted for you.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes. Babysitter and then the other 2 at school.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right, Lori. Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was so good to catch up with you.
You too. It was so great to see you.